and welcome to episode 7 of the Brick and Modem Resale podcast. I am one of your hosts, Trevor, aka Retro Rewinder, and this right here is
Jake,
aka Jake. We got to get you a fake name.
The Game Boy. I think it's my eBay name. We can just say that, I guess.
The Game Boy.
The Game Boy.
It's weird that you're a grown man, though. I have a hard time calling you a boy.
But I'm a real boy.
You're a real boy. So I was just looking. Our last time we recorded was in early December, so it's been a little later than I think either of us really wanted to record, but I have been super busy. COVID and vacations and holidays make it very hard to do consistent work at the house. I feel like I've had 1, maybe 2 weeks of 5 days, Monday through Friday, actually able to do my normal stuff since we recorded last. There's always some type of school closing that I have to, have the girls home. And 1 week is like, oh, I finally got the week to do just work stuff. I had to take my car in to get new tires. And living out in the country, it's like if I'm taking the car in, it's not like I can just come back home. So I stayed in town those days as well. So, yeah, I think I've had 2 weeks of actual Monday through Friday being able to do stuff. So hopefully we can do this a little more regularly because I still want to talk about Poshmark and Mercari. Yeah. And there's a new selling thing that's kind of taken off that I did apply to be a seller for. So we're going to see how that goes. And that's that whatnot. I don't know if you've followed anything with that.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't done anything with it though.
It's pretty cool. I've only been to one whatnot sale, and it was for Business 17, and he listens to the podcast, and it was pretty cool. It's basically a YouTube live or Instagram live where they're physically showing you the games, and then you start a timer auction, and then within the last 10 seconds, if somebody bids, it adds another 10 seconds. What I find really interesting to possibly do is selling the lower priced clothing items that I don't necessarily want to take the time to take 12 pictures of for each listing and throwing that kind of stuff up, or bulk Xbox 360 games, stuff that I don't want to spend a whole lot of time selling a $15 game, but sprinkling in some maybe better finds, $30, $40 games to kind of get the interest of other people in there as well. And during his stream, what I noticed was if somebody bought a game, which I bought one, it was my first time on there. So they give you a $10 credit. You just have to pay shipping. So his auction, it was $4 shipping. And then any game you bought after that, it was $1 extra.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were making stacks of stuff they were buying. So I found that pretty interesting. So outside of the world of selling, Jake, how have you been?
I've been doing pretty good. Same as you, real busy. Work's been ramping up a lot of things and some crazy stuff going on there. Some crazy hours, things like that. Just some family stuff and, just staying a little busier than I want to be. Really.
Everybody staying healthy over there?
Yep. I've got my mom's going in for surgery this coming Monday, so that's some pretty big time back surgery stuff. So
okay.
But I think everybody else otherwise doing pretty good.
How's Noah doing?
Doing pretty good. Yes, I spent a little time. Spent 1 day over the weekend with him. I was supposed to have him the whole weekend, but he was kind of sick at the beginning, so I didn't get him till later, but
that's a bummer.
Yeah, it kind of stunk, but at least I got to see him, and we had fun. We always have a good time, and we're planning a trip here in a month. We're going to take the Corvette as long as the weather's not crappy. We're going to take the Corvette down to the Corvette Museum and Mammoth Cave and that kind of area.
Oh, cool.
Just spend a couple days down there and have a good time, hopefully.
And I think last time that you told me about the Corvette Museum, you'll get free front row parking, right?
Yeah, I guess I can hopefully. I mean, it was that way ages ago when I was there. So yeah. I think it's still a thing. And I always thought, one day I'm gonna have one, and I'm gonna come back here, and I'm gonna park in the front. So,
They're going to be doing parking lot construction or something while you're there. It's going to
oh
prevent you
gosh,
from being able to park there.
we'll just turn around, and come home. Nope.
We've got a pretty big vacation coming up towards the end of March. We're going to Disney World, so we're super excited and kind of anxious about that. So
You have to let me know how it goes. They've changed a lot of things, got rid of a lot of freebies, yada
yeah,
yada yada.
I know they got rid of the free transportation from the airport, so we kind of had to play around with ticket prices, and it actually was cheaper to go down the night before we were planning and get a hotel for everybody than it would have been to go the next day, just flight alone. So
Wow.
we're going down a night earlier than we had planned, and then we have to like take a shuttle from our hotel that's near the airport that morning, take it back to the airport, then get on a shuttle from the airport to Disney World, which kind of stinks. So we wish that there was like direct transportation, but it is what it is. But it's going to be spring break time, so I'm a little nervous on wait times and stuff like that. And they have like these Genie Plus where you can basically pay $15 per ticket per day to kind of get in virtual queues, basically.
Yeah.
But when I've gone on and checked a couple days, and it's like sometimes there's not even a time available. So it's like you're paying for it and you may not even be able to use it for the ride you want. So it's a little sketchy. But the girls are super excited. They just want to see princesses. Like,
Yeah, so do you.
no,
We know it.
yeah. I don't know. Last time I went to Disney World, I was pretty happy to see Jasmine. So actually, all the guys in our group was pretty happy to see Jasmine. But yeah, they're not doing the character visits are like 6 foot social distance. So we're hoping they change that before we go because Nora really wants to hug them. So
Yeah.
hopefully they change that. They did drop the mask policy just like last week, so we don't have to wear masks anywhere in Disney World, which is nice. It was that you only had to wear it inside line queues and like going to your table, I think at dinner, but they got rid of all that stuff now. So now I know that you had planned a trip to Disney. Have you tried rescheduling that, or you wait until it opens up again? Or
No, we keep trying to push back doing it, but we're kind of turned off about it at the moment with all the new things Disney's doing, the new costs. If you stay on
right,
property, you have to pay to park. If you want to get in the line queue, like you just mentioned, you gotta pay for the app, extra, whatever.
yeah,
You can't hop between parks. If you say I'm going to Magic Kingdom on Tuesday, well then Tuesday's your day. If it's rainy or really busy and you don't want to go there, you want to go somewhere else, I think you can't. There's
so
too much. There's too much going on. It should be like the old way. I don't know if it's going to get that way.
they
So
are freeing stuff up every week now. So like I know they do park hopper, but there's restrictions. Well, it's just you used to have to pay for the park hopper anyway. It was like a different tier of ticket, but now you have to schedule, like you said, you have to schedule. Okay, I'm going to Magic Kingdom on Monday. If you have the park hopper, you still have to go to Magic Kingdom on that Monday, but at 2:00 you can switch to any other park that you have hopped.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
that's not great,
yeah,
but at least gives you some flexibility.
right. So you have to wait till 2:00. Which yeah, it's we didn't want to park hop anyway, just because the time that it takes to go between the parks, and so
Yeah.
we didn't have to worry about that. But yeah, we are staying on a Disney property just so we can get in a half hour early and not have. I mean, we're flying down, so we didn't want to have to worry about needing a car to get anywhere. So
Well, the penny collector in me is upset too because all the machines are starting to phase out. You know how you smash pennies and elongated people call all kind. I call them smash pennies.
That's what I
So
call
you
them.
put your 2 quarters, your penny, you do the little coin thing, and then you spin the gear, and out comes your smash
Uh-huh.
penny. Well, anybody that collects those and knows anything about them, you want to use copper pennies because they just smash better. The zinc ones can, I don't know, they show like the zinc through it because it's just a copper coated zinc piece of metal, I guess, the penny. So a lot of the machines went from 51 cents to $1. So you could use, and you don't put your own change in most of them. I think they're phasing them out. So like you just have to use either your credit or debit card, I think on a lot of them, or some of them may take bills, but it preloads the penny for you. And they're all
Oh,
nice, new, shiny pennies. And and they're like $1 each. Man,
right.
so it's doubled price. You can't use your own stuff. I mean, who wants to carry around a whole bunch of rolls of quarters and pennies? This guy.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of a sad thing for me because me and Noah, and anybody listening, Noah's my 6-year-old son. We both kind of got into those and are collecting those when we go places. So it's kind of a letdown, but I guess that's just the way things are going, right? It's convenient. They probably will sell more because all you got to do is just tap your card or,
Right.
whatever. Out comes some pennies. So,
Yeah. And at Disney, you don't even need to carry a credit card anymore. They have those magic bands, and
yeah,
it's linked to your credit card. So you just got to hit your band that you're already wearing for like anything you want to buy.
that makes it too easy.
Yeah,
That's the
it
point.
does.
So, yeah,
It's a good thing and a bad thing.
yeah, they can get away from you if you're not careful.
Yeah, that's true. So how has sales been?
Our store has been pretty good. We had almost a sketchy month a couple months ago. January, I think, but it
My
turned out
January was
turned out
horrible.
well. eBay sales for me have been, I don't know, they've been okay. Um, I sold that big lot of wrestlers. I don't know if I've talked about it or not, but I bought a whole bunch of wrestlers before Christmas. I lotted them up, like 60 of them, and I put them on eBay for auction because I could list them individually, but I don't have the time. And then they sell for a couple of bucks, whatever each, and I gotta package them, ship them. It ended up not being worth my time. So I just lotted them all together. I took nice pictures so everybody knows what they're getting, and they sold for like 72.50 or I can't remember what it was, 92.50, whatever it was. They sold for whatever. Not as much as I wanted to get for them, but that's okay. The guy never paid. Never paid. I'm like, come on. So I thought, well, I'll just list them separate. And then I got to realizing the same reasons. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. So I just hit relist. They sold for $1 more, and the guy paid. So hallelujah. But I shipped them UPS. But on a rainy, crappy weather day, I had other packages to go to the USPS, and I dropped that UPS package off at USPS.
Oh,
Yeah, and then several days go by, and the guy emails me. He's like, "Hey, did you ship that? Because I see a label's printed, but I see no scanning." And I didn't. I ship UPS not very often, but when I do, I take it certain place and I get a
you go to
receipt
Minute Print it?
every time. I do.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
right.
frantically looked through my car for the receipt because I know I get receipts. Couldn't find it. What in the world is going on here? So I call Minute Print It, and they're like, "Well, if you'd have brought it here, it would have went out. There's nothing back where we keep it." I'm like, okay. And then I got to thinking, what if I put it on the counter? It was a really yucky weather day. I was in a hurry. I had other packages. Oh crap. I did that. So I was like, I'm sold on that. That's what happened. So I called out there to the post office. I actually stopped out there too. Like you, I know some people that work there.
Talk to
And they're,
Casey.
yeah, yeah, she's
She's
wonderful.
she's the best.
She's absolutely the best. So I talked to her and I was like, what do I do? I think I dropped it off here. She said basically this might be some good information for some people out there. Basically, a couple things could have happened. It could land back on my front door or be in the post office and they'll leave a letter like, hey, come get your package, you idiot. You dropped it off here.
Yeah.
2, UPS does go there every day. I didn't know that. I know
I didn't know that either.
FedEx does, but UPS goes there and drops things off for them to deliver. So anytime somebody accidentally does that and they catch it, they'll give it to the UPS guy. They'll scan it, off it goes. No problem. Well, that didn't happen because they would have scanned the label.
Right.
Or number 3, it would have just got pushed through and into the USPS system. So the guy opened a case on eBay. He was real patient, but he opened a case. I'm like, man, come on, you're killing me.
Yeah.
But he opened up a case, and I said, can we just give it a couple more days, see if it gets delivered? Because at this time I still didn't know what was going on. Really, I knew it was somewhere. It couldn't have just disappeared. So he's like, okay, no problem. That next day, he sends me a message with a picture of the box, and it says postage due 1955. So it went through the entire USPS system and went COD, I guess. So he had to pay $20 to get it out of Hawk.
Oh my gosh.
I refunded him $25. He was super cool. He's like, hey, I get it. I was like, those darn wrestlers are cursed.
So after you had to refund the $20, did you make any profit on them?
Yeah, I think I cleared my cost of my initial purchase. And I still have probably, I don't know, 15 wrestlers I can list that go for like $15, $20, $30. So I would have loved to have made more. The guy got an excellent deal. I mean, He paid less than $2 a wrestler. And he seems to know what he's doing because he buys and sells that type of stuff on eBay, and he probably has a store too, I imagine. So,
yeah.
Hey, good for him. I moved a lot of, lower value. I think they were $10 and less in there. Probably $5 average.
I listed some comics at auction for $1 plus shipping, and they sold for $1 plus shipping. So you did better than I did, but they were bulk comics that came with those cards that I got from that estate sale we went to. Yeah. So I didn't have anything into them. They were just thrown in as extras. So I guess technically I made $1 off of them. But I sold those Transformers comics the same way. I think I started an auction for like $50, and they sold for $50. So, but auctions are. I just don't have great luck with auctions. I've had auctions in the past where I don't get any bids. Like I listed something, a tea set one time that I paid $30 for. So I listed it at auction for $35 plus shipping, just knowing that, if it sold, I wouldn't lose any money. I didn't get a single bid on it. So I listed buy it now and sold it for like $200 and some. So it's like somebody could have snagged it for $35 and they didn't. So then I sold it for $200 and some. It's just weird.
Well, as my economics teacher in college, my first round of college, would say, we live in a Mickey Mouse drive-through culture, meaning follow the bouncy ball. Everybody just follows the bouncy ball. Like they used to, for all them younger people, when sing-alongs, they had a little ball bounce. And the drive-through, like everybody wants to, they don't want to get out of their car, be inconvenienced. They just want to get it now. And I think that's maybe auctions are kind of, I don't want to wait 7 days. I'll shop somewhere else and find it and pay more so I can have it this week.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I kind of feel that.
I think feel that way. Yeah, auctions are weird because I think sometimes you can get, if you get two people that get into that competitive mentality, it's like, well, I just want to win now, then it can really benefit you as a seller. But if you don't have that, then somebody's going to get a deal. Because I actually fell into that trap on Facebook a couple months ago. I bid on some records, and this guy just kept bidding against me. And I'm like, gosh dang it,
right?
I'm going to win these freaking records. So then it got higher and higher, and I paid way more than I wanted to for the stupid records. And I was about ready to just say, you know what, I'm quitting. And that other guy was like, yeah, they're too high for me now. I'm like, gosh darn it, now I'm stuck with them. But so now I'll make my money back on them, but not much more than that.
Yeah, we're not in the break even or come close to break even game.
Yeah, I know.
That's not what I do it for.
So, Jake, before we started recording, you talked about a video game lot that you had picked up. Have you gotten any other cool finds since it's been like 2 months since we've recorded. Did you get any other pretty cool stuff?
Just recently, a couple good, like you said, video game purchases for Hole in the Wall Games, which is our like our the brick part of our podcast name. So, for those that haven't listened before, I have a eBay store, of course, but me and a friend named John, and maybe we'll get him on here one of these episodes. We started 3 years ago, just a little 8x12 space in a really nice upscale resale type flea market building. We call it Hole in the Wall Games. And we've, like I said, been there 3 years, and we consistently do better. It's pretty cool. We just sell video games and plushies and, that kind of nerd stuff and video games, just all that kind of stuff. We came across one of our customers that shops with us all the time. He sent us a message and said, hey, do you guys want to buy some stuff for your store? I want to get rid of some of my games, blah, blah, blah. It's like, absolutely. What do you have? Send me some pictures. We'll come over. We'll figure it out. Send me some pictures. And it was all like RPGs and stuff like that, like high-end games for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PS1, PS2, like Earthbound and stuff like that, all the way down to very few common like stuff. Most everything was either on the edge of uncommon or rare. So somewhere in between those two spectrums. It's just a really good lot. So I kind of worked up a price for the guy. I thought he was going to say no. We paid up on the deal. But he said, yeah, that sounds good. And I got a whole bunch more. So just come on over. So we went over. Him and his family, super great people. We saw the stuff that we made an offer on. He showed all kinds, like twice as much more than what we thought. And we took a look at it, came up with a price, and he accepted. It's pretty epic. It was a very expensive lot of games, but we stand to, I think, at least double our money, and it's excellent, hard to find inventory. You wouldn't go to a flea market type store and think to find some of the stuff that we got. So pretty excited about that.
So now I know you both took some stuff for your personal collections. Is that you guys going to make double what you paid and get to keep that stuff, or is that kind of factored into what you guys think of your profit?
I think we should still double our money because, like I said, when we showed up, he had so much more extra, and he was just like, he had a Wii and some Wii U stuff over in the corner, like on a shelf, and we're like, how about that stuff over there? And he's like, oh yeah, that too. And there's a Dreamcast, there was like one of those soft CD cases, binder type thing, single disc, full of Dreamcast games. They're all loose, but some had some manuals, but they were like quality titles. It wasn't like basketball or some kind of crap. It was like good stuff. All from him from like his childhood, I guess. And I think John kept Earthbound and Earthbound Manual, like the player's guide that came with the big box. He's always been after Earthbound. So he kept that. I kept some other stuff, some random stuff. But yeah, we ended up working it out. We always were collectors first. We like to collect this stuff. So we negotiate the price of the deal. We buy the stuff. We're in it 50-50. And then whatever we were going to sell something for, like if, let's say, $100 game, we were going to put it in our store for $100. When it sold, we'd get $50 a piece, basically, right? So we just buy each other's halves out of what we want to keep. So it ends up working out for us. But yeah, we stand to make pretty good deal on that. We've already sold quite a bit of it, but some of the higher end stuff, like I said, people don't go into a flea market, even a nice one, and expect to find $100, $200 video games. I don't think.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. But we price everything competitively. So I got that. I got a Game Gear lot off of a guy like 2 weeks ago. A working Sega Game Gear and a case with a whole bunch of games for $100.
No dead pixels or anything?
No. Sound has got a little bit of a ring to it, but the capacitors just garbage. absolute garbage on those. So just that it works alone is amazing. So if someone wants to change out the soundboard or change out the capacitors, it's easy. They can do it if they want. Otherwise, it works just fine. And we got a whole bunch of games, bunch of Sonic games, but one game in particular, I don't know, the camera probably won't pick it up. Tails Adventure.
It actually is picking it up.
It's a pretty salty game. I think we're gonna ask $120 for it, and I think that's pretty fair, at least in our area. But that was a pretty nice little find there too.
I actually found some video games in the flea market in Lebanon last week, which I don't go in there maybe but once a month, and there was a new video game booth in there. It was all is one of those things where every game's $5. So the vast majority is very overpriced, but then they threw in some stuff that it's like they just didn't care to look it up. So I actually got 2 copies of Wii Sports Resort for $5, and then one just regular Wii Sports that I picked up. So just good bread and butter games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I've just been finding clothes. I've been finding some pretty good clothing items. I've almost just considered switching the eBay business a little bit and focusing on clothes. They're just so easy to find, and I've been selling them really well. Poshmark's been doing really well for me. I had a like $70 cardigan sell just today that I picked up for $1 over in the Salvation Army in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
And it's just so easy to store that it doesn't take up much space. I've really been considering it, but I just like the variety of stuff, so I probably won't do that. Especially garage sale season, I can't not pick up other good stuff that I find. So, but yeah, my sales in January were horrible. I was like, oh, this is not a good start. And then February really kicked it up, thankfully. Still able to pay the bills. But yeah, January was pretty rough.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it'll just get better with March and April coming. So,
well, I hope so too. Another thing too about, and I know we texted back and forth a bunch about it, with the whole new, you sell $600, blah, 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 whatever, you're going to get a 1099K. I'm trying to prepare myself for that a little better than in the past. I've never hit that threshold in the past. I think I did about 10 grand last year. I think that's most I've done in a year, just casually selling online.
yeah.
But I hope to make much more than that this year, or at least hit that. So I started with the whole eBay managed payments thing. I think I set it up for every like Tuesday, or I don't know if it picked the day or I did. I can't remember. Like every Tuesday, if there's any money in my account, it'll just direct deposit it to my checking account. And I want to be responsible with that money. So that going into my normal debit card, regular bank account, checking account, probably not a good idea. So I might be like, oh, limited run games, let me order that game, or spend it on something, or spend it on my son, so I opened a online checking account through Chime Bank. I don't know, sounded good.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 payouts so far put in there, and my goal is hopefully I can manage to not touch it, like forget it exists. If it would quit sending me messages, I got money in my account, that'd be great. You got so much money, like what do you want me to spend it? What are you doing? So I'm hoping I'll just kind of leave it all in there and forget about it, and then next tax cycle I'll be totally green with this whole tax thing. I don't know what to expect. I'm hoping that I can then pay if I owe taxes out of that Chime account, and whatever's left, I'll consider that my tax return, or go buy something I want, or leave it in there and forget about it, or invest it.
So now when you say prepping, really the only thing that you need to prep is basically putting extra money back, right? Because you track all of your sales and purchases pretty closely from what I remember.
Yeah,
So
I designed a spreadsheet. Yeah, because if they say, oh, you sold $10,000, you get a 1099 for $10,000, just like anybody, no, I didn't make $10,000. I have costs and overheads and all that stuff. So I really made $5,000, if I can prove it, or I really don't know what to expect. It'll be my first year doing it.
Right.
But I think and I may find that I take too many notes. I don't know. But I tried to track what I have invested in something. If I buy like labels for my printer, I try to, put that as a line in my spreadsheet, labels, $35, whatever there are, bubble mailers. If I buy something and it doesn't sell, I still bought that in the intent to sell. So I put that in there. I don't know. I'm still kind of new to all that. So it'll be interesting next
Now,
year to see how it works out.
you do want to be careful with if you haven't sold it yet. If you were to be audited, you're not allowed to write off purchases you make that you haven't sold yet. So just be careful.
Good to know.
Yeah. So like, if let's say I bought these airplanes for $1,000, if I don't sell any of that, then that's $1,000 that I can't write off until I sell them. Cost of goods is only cost of goods sold. So just be very careful.
See, there you go, folks.
Yeah. I would love to write off all of my purchases because it would show that I was negative money, probably. I don't know. But yeah. So that's why it's really important to track when it sells and how much you bought it for at that time.
Yeah. And I try to put in my spreadsheet, I've got a purchase date, a sale date, purchase price, sold price, and then all the little fees that are associated with it. So
yeah, I think it should be when you buy something in order to resell it, it should be from the moment you buy it. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. And I've tried to research it. And, if you work in like a retail, or if your business is retail where you're selling the same thing over and over, you can do it a little differently. You can do what they call like the first in, first out. So if you're selling like neckties and that's all you sell, you can theoretically, like the very first necktie you bought, when you make a sale, you can just write whatever that first one was off. It doesn't have to be the blue and green Argyle tie. It could just be the first one you bought. But when you're dealing with so many unique SKUs like what we deal with video games and underwear and all this various stuff, you kind of have to match it exactly with what you have. So
that's good to know. It's
yeah.
all new territory for me.
Yeah, it was very new for me last year. Last year was the first year I had to do it, and I didn't write off as much as I could have and paid more taxes than what I really wanted to. This year, I think I did it pretty well. I haven't even gone to the tax lady yet. I still need to do that. I still have to do 1 month of my cost of goods sold. For some reason, like before I went full time, there was like 3 months that I just decided not to track. So like I tracked when I bought it, but I didn't track once I sold it. So I have to go back in my spreadsheet and find like, oh, I sold this, and then I have to search for it in the spreadsheet and copy the numbers over, which I need a better way of doing that. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but I use GoDaddy bookkeeping to do all that stuff. So I just, at the end of the month, I just factor in what my cost of goods sold were and then add it to GoDaddy. That's how I track my mileage and everything too. So what is your opinion on the whole tax thing? Do you like it? Do you not like it?
I mean, part of me says, technically you sell $1, you should show that as income, right?
Right.
So part of me is like, probably should do this anyway. It's the right thing to do. Whether you agree or disagree with it, it's kind of technically what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So that part of me is like, yeah, okay. But the other part of me is like, well, doggone it.
Yeah.
This stinks. It's like I get paid. I work a job, I get paid. They tax the pay. I go to the store and I buy something and I pay a tax on that. And then I want to sell it. And then the buyer's paying tax on that. And then at the end of the year, I pay tax on the money I made. And it's messy and I don't like it. I think it should be streamlined a lot better, but there's just so much to it, and I'm not a CPA, nor will I
Right.
ever be one. So it's frustrating. I'm not very happy that the limit has been dropped so drastically.
It was a crazy drop.
20 grand to $600, 200 transactions and 20 plus thousand to one transaction, $600 for a president that said, I'm not going to raise your taxes. You kind of did, buddy. So
Yeah.
I don't know. There's 6 ways to look at it.
The funny thing is my view on this is drastically different than it would have been before I was full time. I think if I was still doing this part time, I'd be not very happy about it. But now that I'm full time, I actually really like this. And the main reason that I like it is because I look at this as a giant hurdle that a vast majority of people do not want to jump over to sell. And I think that's going to open the door for us people that do it more seriously to get better deals, maybe drive the market up a little bit, because if less people are selling, theoretically your prices can go up because there's less inventory. So I'm actually looking at this like it's a very good thing for me, since I do this full time. And I was going to have to pay. I was going to hit that 20,000 no matter what. So it's not like the drop is really changing anything for me. I'm just hoping that it knocks some people out of the reselling world that don't want to have to deal with it anymore. Those small time sellers. Yeah. But what I'm finding is that most of the resellers that I find, they're full time. Like I go into Goodwill now, and there's this guy named Jack that's in there when I go. There's Brandon. There's you sometimes. There's this lady that she's frustrating. She races me in there at 9:00. Normally I was the only one showing up at 9:00, and now this other lady goes, and she's always racing me to the racks, which is really annoying. But yeah, I'm seeing the same people over and over now. So I don't think it's going to affect them either. I mean, they were going to be hitting those thresholds no matter what. But it is kind of interesting. I found that like when we go in there, I'll go through like the t-shirts, and then this Jack guy comes in, and he doesn't sell as much on eBay. He doesn't do Poshmark at all, but he only does clothing. And I thought, well, that's kind of crazy. You sell only clothing, but you don't do Poshmark. I always associated big clothing sellers with Poshmark, but he does Depop, and now he's doing that Whatnot auctions. So like I'll go through, and then he'll come out with like a handful of stuff. I'm like, what did you pick? Like, what did I miss? And it's like, I look at his stuff and I was like, well, I don't think I'd buy that. He's like, yeah, but on Whatnot, I'll sell it for $8. And he only takes one picture. You know, you take your one picture to show that you're selling it, and then you just hold it up and show it that way. I'm like, well, yeah, I'd sell a lot more $8 items if I didn't have to do all the work for it. So he picks up a lot of stuff that I wouldn't. And the Brandon guy, we pretty much buy the same stuff. When I first met him, we were actually racing back to buy PS3s at an estate sale in Brownsburg. So he looks for the same stuff that I do. But I beat him. Is that
the guy that I met? Is that
him?
He goes, oh, yep. I know you from the podcast or something. Yep. Like, oh, cool.
Yeah, he walks in. I'm normally in there at 9, so he'll come in at like 9:30 or 10 sometimes, and he'll do that like, oh, you're in here. Like, yeah, I've been here for about an hour. I spend way too long in there, but
it's fun.
I like, I used to be frustrated or annoyed when I'd see other resellers, and now it's kind of fun. You see them, and there's so much inventory out there that like we all can get stuff. Cause I mean, he lives in Lebanon, so he goes in there every day, a couple times a day. So he's picking up stuff that comes off the brand new racks anyway. Right. But it's just neat to be able to talk to those guys and see what they're picking up and how they're doing. And I actually applied to be the Whatnot seller because of the Jack guy. So, but it's different than eBay because you actually have to fill out an application and like be selected to sell on there. So I'm still waiting to hear if I'll get selected. Or my following is not the greatest. Like I think, on Instagram I only have like 200 followers. On YouTube it's like 500, but they look at your followers and they look at your selling history. So my selling history is great. I mean, I've got eBay and all of that to show that I'm a reliable seller, but I'll be interested. I'm excited to try that out.
I'm excited to see how it works out. Because you got to look for different ways of doing things. Yep. Diversify your portfolio.
Yeah, being so much in on eBay is a little scary at times because, you know, if you get your account suspended on accident or something like that, then you're out of a big chunk of money for somebody that's only on eBay, which is what I've been for the most part of my selling career. Now, I have been curious, Jake, and I've asked you this a couple times, and you said you hadn't heard. Will the flea market start sending you a 1099 since they are processing your payments, or do you think she'll?
I don't know.
Not worry about
it. Hard to tell. I mean, that's a really, really good question. And the next time I go in there and she's there, I'm gonna sidebar and have a conversation about that with her to find out, because if they do, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, that'll really hit your taxes.
Yeah, because it's gonna be hard to figure. It's harder to figure cost of goods. I mean, because a lot of that stuff's been not a lot, but some of that's been in there for a while. You know, some things takes a while to sell. It's hard to know exactly what we've paid for things. I think we could probably muster up a good idea, but it'd be hard to prove it if audited. You know, it's like, show us your receipts. What? There aren't any receipts.
Right.
So I don't know how we're going to handle that if that happens. We'd probably just have to pay tax on how much that is and just go with it. But
because I know like the way they worded it was like anybody that is a payment processor has to do those thresholds. So I don't know if the flea market like liaisons are considered payment processors since they're taking the credit card payments and sending you. I don't know. So it'll be interesting because that'll be drastically. And I'm sure it would show that you made a lot more than 10,000 if you had to do all of your flea market sales.
Yeah, and it's all in. It's actually all on John. It's all in John's name. They don't let it be in both. So that just would complicate things a little bit more. I wouldn't expect him to have to pay it. You know, the liability, it would have to be somehow showed. Like, I wouldn't expect him to pay it and then I just pay him back half of it. I don't think that'd be the right way to go. So I don't know, but you bringing that up has really made me think about it. So I just have to talk to the owner of the store and just say, hey, you know, because I think early on someone I talked to that has a booth there brought it up to her and thought the answer was no, it's not going to matter. But I don't want third party information. I want to hear it from her. And if that's the case, then we're going to have to start keeping better track of things and putting money back for possible paying of taxes.
Right. Because what I could see happening is her saying, no, it's not going to change anything. A year later, she's going to have to pay taxes on all these. It's going to show that she made all this income. Because, I mean, if she's using credit card machines, that's tracked. And then she'll be a year from now be like, oh, I'm not paying all these taxes. And then the next year, you guys will. I could see that happening. Or at the end of the year, she's like, oh, by the way, I am sending you a 1099. And then it kind of blindsides you.
Oh, crap. You know, like I think we did 20 grand last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a ton in the whole spectrum of things, but that's quite a bit out of 8 foot by 12 foot. That's pretty good. So yeah, we're gonna have to start keeping better track of what we have invested in things, and we'll have to see. I mean, if worst case scenario, we pay taxes on what that number is if we can't prove it otherwise.
Right, that'll suck.
Yeah, because now Mr. Basement that we bought all the RPG games off of, and we paid so many thousands of dollars for all that stuff. If we mark that down, are they going to be like, okay, cool, what's Mr. Basement's name? Where's his address? Now we're going to go to him and hit him for the, several $1,000s you gave him for all his stuff. Where
Yeah,
does it end? Where does it end?
the way I track it is I just say like I got it from Facebook. I don't put receipts, but I do put what I paid for it and where I got it from. So hopefully they're not going to come after somebody that's making $30,000 or 40,000 profit, even 50 or 60. Hopefully the IRS wouldn't audit somebody like that, but to me there's bigger fish out there than somebody like
Yeah.
us selling video games for some extra income. But
Well, I just have to write the Corvette off.
yeah,
So I go
use
pick
that
up.
as your tax expense.
Yeah, that's my game getter. Go get games in it. Represent my brand. Yeah.
Have you been sad that it hasn't been able to be out with the weather?
Yeah, I got in it the other day and started it up. I figured I probably should do that. It's on a battery tender, Corvette battery tender, so it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of stunk the garage up a little bit, but that's okay.
Don't
It
kill
wanted to go
yourself.
so bad. No, I had the garage door open, but it was a little snowy out that day. But yeah, I've been itching to take it out. It's just so much. It's so much fun to drive. It just
Yeah.
You don't have to drive it fast or hard or insane, go around corners on a dime. You don't have to do that. Just cruising around in it is just fun. It's just a
Right.
good time. So I really do miss that. Here in Indiana, I get to drive it about 6 months worth of, well, not 6 months straight, just 6 months is eligible for driving it. And some hardcore people might be like, it's a car. It's meant to be driven in the rain and the snow, all that. Yeah, you're right. You can drive it in that stuff. Probably not as effectively. But all that crap
It
they
won't.
put on the roads eats up the subframe and
Yeah. It won't last as long. That's for sure.
no, it's my car. It's the way I want to drive it.
It's your other child. We know.
It is. It is. It's gonna get some tires soon. I've been getting quotes on tires, and since I bought it, I don't know what services have been done and have not been.
Right.
I mean, I changed the oil in it when I bought it just because I thought, well, I should probably at least change the oil. The guy said it needed an oil change, but I don't know what services haven't been or have been done. So I got a quote on some of that today, and oh, like to check the transmission. There were transmissions in the back of the car. It's not where normal transmissions are. So I guess they have to start the car, get it running at optimal temperature, then put it on a car lift it up while it's running. I could be wrong, but this is what I've heard. While it's running, they have to go back and I don't know what they do, like squirt something out or something. I don't know. But I was like, well, probably should have a Chevy dealer do that, I think.
Yeah.
And
So
like
it's a
differential
process, is
fluids and
what
all
you're
that.
saying.
It's not normal like a normal car. There's some oddities on service, and I want it to stay running really good, and I want it to be a safe car. I mean, me and Noah go farting around in it, so I'm gonna get new tires. The tires are okay, but they're old, so it's
Yeah.
probably good just to go ahead and change them. So I'm gonna change them and I'm gonna upgrade them. I'm gonna get some services done. So we can take that trip down to Kentucky, and I can feel more safe that we're not gonna have a blowout on the interstate or some expensive side of the road issue happens. I mean, the car has been babied its entire life, as far as I can tell. So I want to keep that tradition going.
Yeah.
But I can write that off on my taxes. Yeah, yeah. I'll go to Goodwill while I'm down there, and it'll be a business trip.
For sure, you should. Well, you would go to a Goodwill anyway, but for sure,
Yeah,
write the
oh yeah,
mileage off. I would definitely do that. If I leave the house, I'm writing it as mileage. So I stop at Goodwill and I use my credit card just to show that, you know, I went there and I made a purchase. So I'm gonna write it off on taxes for sure.
yeah. If you're gonna make me pay taxes, by golly, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try everything I can to, because I am honestly doing that. I'm honestly going and seeking out inventory and buying things to help resell and supplies and things like that. So I don't know if I can like write off like 100 square foot of my house as an office. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, that's why I'm specifically going to somebody to help me with that. Because I know the basics, but I don't know how to do the square footage stuff and health insurance. I've read both ways that you're allowed to do it if you're a sole proprietor. You're not allowed to. So I wanted to go to somebody to do all that stuff for me. So
Well, you might have to share your person with me
yeah,
if
it's
they end
it's
up
right
being
there
pretty
in
good.
Lebanon. So
Yeah.
I don't remember her name, but she offers services like where she would be my bookkeeper and
Uh-huh.
check like monthly on my books, and I didn't want that because I'm not the best at keeping everything separate, and she doesn't. I don't want somebody seeing where I went to eat and all that crap because everything's connected to the credit cards. And
Yeah.
I am more official though. I have a credit card with my retro rewinder on there now. I
Ooh,
was excited when
moving
I
up.
got that in the mail.
You go
So
to sign
anything
for
else before
something.
we head out of here, Jake?
Uh, no, I can't think of anything. Just some, oddity things, little fun stories from, the past couple of months.
Let's hear one.
Well, the package thing was kind of strange. That wasn't very fun. I did take a little trip down to Newport, Kentucky. I took Noah down there. He said one day to me, "Daddy, I want to go walk across that shark bridge again." I'm like, "Oh, okay." We did it when he was like 4 years old. I can't believe he remembered it. He's 6 now. So I said, "All right, we'll do that." So that one of them holiday weekend was it? It doesn't matter. Like a month ago. I said, "Well, we're going. Let's go." So we jumped in the car and we got there. We had a nice lunch. Went to the aquarium. Let him do whatever he wanted. It was his day. I mean, if he wanted to, they have like a little playground thing inside, with slides and tubes and tunnels and whatever they got. He played on that thing forever. Like my foot fell asleep. I was standing there. There's nowhere to sit down. It's so busy. But I didn't rush him. I didn't say, "All right, let's go." I said, "You play as long as you want." He finally tired out. We looked at everything he wanted to look at as many times as he wanted to. Took him across. I think we went across the Shark Bridge like 6 times. I don't know if anybody's ever been there. It's kind of cool. It's kind of
We
hurt my
want
feet.
to.
It was fun. It was a good time. We went across that like 6 times, 2 different times, but 6 total times. We went in the gift shop. I let him buy whatever he wanted. I don't care. We got a giant stuffed shark last time we went. We got a smaller version of it. And he gave me the other one. "Daddy, you can have the big shark. I'll take this Noah size shark." Whatever. We got an ornament for our Christmas tree. That's something we like to start doing when we go places. Try to find an ornament so we can. When I got a divorce, kind of all that stuff went to the ex-wife. So I started with a blank tree, and instead of just buying random stuff to put on it, I thought, how cool would that be? That every little place that we go, if we can find an ornament, or maybe I can make one, that can be like a memory of something we've done. So that's been really fun.
We do
Uh,
that as well.
yeah, why not? I guess a lot of people do, right?
We do the ornaments. You know, we don't buy an ornament at every single place we go to, but pretty much any like bigger thing we do, we buy an ornament,
Yeah.
and then we buy refrigerator magnets. So that's like
Yes, we
two
love that
things.
too. Yeah, and
And
patches. He's starting wanting to buy patches. I'm like, whatever.
hmm,
But we do the smash pennies and we do the like medallions. They look like dollar coins. They're gold and all kinds of different colors, I guess. You get them like at the zoos and all those kind of bigger places. We got those and we keep those in like dollar size cardboard holders that have the little plastic. You staple them shut and you slide them in pages, like 3-ring binder pages made for them, like coin collecting. So I use my laser and I laser on the date that we went and typically the logo of the place, kind of customize it. It's really kind of cool. That and for the smash pennies. But we do all that. So we did the aquarium and we parked in the parking garage that's attached to like a mall, but it's not like a really busy mall. I really don't know what it is. But he said, "Daddy, can we go all the way to the top floor because it's really big?" I said, "Sure, it's your day." 2.5 hour drive home, but that's okay. We get up to the top. There's an AMC theater at the very top. So he's like, "Can we watch a movie?" I'm like, Why not? Who, like I said, it was his day. So we watched the new Ghostbusters movie while we were there.
That was a great movie.
I liked it. I
I
liked it a
liked it
lot.
a lot.
So we did all that, and I think we got back to town by like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. We were both so tired. But, you got to have those days sometimes. You
Yeah.
just let him be a kid, let him have fun, because those are the things that he's going to remember. And he may, try to do that with his kids, hopefully, in the future. But so, yeah, just little trips here and there. We're in talks of buying an RV.
Oh, wow.
We want to get like a Class C. It's kind of like a U-Haul van, that kind of style where it's got the cab over
Okay.
thing, and I don't know, a worthless shower that I don't know how I'm small, but I don't think I'd be very comfortable. But we're thinking about getting one of those. And I think my parents are wanting to get one too, so we might just combine forces and get a nicer one and go on family trips. So that might be in the future. We
That'd
went
be
to the
nice.
RV show, and he's like, "Daddy, are you going to sell the Corvette so we can get one of these?" Nope. Nope, not doing that. So, there's been a lot of adventure. We've had a lot of fun in the last several months, and we're looking forward to our little trip. And Mom's having her back surgery. She's probably going to be down for a couple months. So
Oh, wow.
maybe towards the end of summer, when she's hopefully better and feels better, we might rent an RV just to make sure we like it. They're not cheap, even used. So I think
Right.
we're going to rent one. Maybe we'll go up to Michigan and look for Uper lights. Have you ever heard of that? Google that. Everybody listening, Uper lights, like starts with a Y.
Huh.
They're like a newly discovered rock. I don't know. You can look up the story. They're on the Upper Peninsula, mainly is where you find them in Michigan. You take like an ultraviolet light and you go on the beach. The rocks, the beaches are rocky up there, not sand. And at nighttime, when the sun goes down, you just shine it on the ground and it will light the rock up like lava. It's so cool.
Okay, business. If you're listening to this, he lives in the Upper Peninsula. Do
Yeah,
you
hook us
know
up.
what Jake is talking about with these Uper lights?
Yeah.
So yeah, he lives up in the Upper Peninsula. We were actually talking the other day. I was asking him about his Goodwill network, and I think he said he has 6 Goodwills that are part of like the Upper Peninsula network of Goodwills. And he said like it was something crazy, like 3 hours north there's a Goodwill, 2 hours south there's a couple more Goodwills, and like an hour each east and west. So I sent him a picture of our central Indiana Goodwills, and yeah, there's just blue dots everywhere. But even crazier, Josh, JCA U99, he was telling me that like he lives in Huntsville, and he's got like 100 different thrift stores just like in the 30-minute vicinity any way that he goes. I'm like, that is nuts. Like we have a bunch, but not that much. Like because he's got Goodwills and Saving Way, I think is what he called one of them, and so there's a bunch of different. We pretty much just have Goodwill and a couple Salvation Armies here and there. We don't have the variety of other.
We have those
cities.
Saint DePaul's or whatever they call them.
Yeah, but there's just the one, right? Oh, is there more than? I just knew the one.
Vincent DePaul or whatever they call them. Isn't that
I think it's like Saint Vincent de Paul.
Oh
yeah, that's a Trinity mission over there.
Trinity, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've got some clients that go to the actual mission, like they're
gotcha.
halfway out. So Trinity, they're in Crawfordsville, and I guess there's one in Lafayette. I've never been to it. I want to go.
I have been to that one, but again, those are 30 minutes to get to that.
Yeah.
And Crawfordsville's 20 minutes. We don't have like a bunch of variety within Indianapolis, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, not really. If
so
we do, it goes away.
So my quick story, I've already told you this, but I was in the Anson Goodwill and John came in.
Yeah.
And he had that same look that I have when there's another reseller in the store. And I had just got to the media and he walked up and told me to leave or whatever he said. I forget what he said. But I said, "Hey, I just got to the media if you want to look." And he didn't. He just like went to the back and looked at the toys, which I had already been back there. And after he left, I found Star Wars Rogue Squadron, I think is what it is, on the GameCube. And I was like, hey, you missed this. And he had a not so happy look on his face. I don't think he was very happy that I was invading his territory. Did he ever say anything to you about it?
He's like, dang it, Trevor was there and he found Star Wars. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know. He goes, that's my goodwill. I go there every day at lunch and find nothing.
Yeah.
Ever. I was like, well.
And the one day I was in there, I found his one game that he could have had.
Did you sell that yet, or you still have it?
Yeah, I think I got $20 free shipping for it.
Yeah, you made $10.
Yeah, it's not the greatest, but I'm not going to turn down a GameCube non-sport title for the $3 that Goodwill normally charges.
No, I wouldn't either. But,
okay, so
yeah, that was funny.
So our buy it now recommendations, I think we both are in agreement. We liked Ghostbusters, so we could recommend watching Ghostbusters, visiting the aquarium.
Yeah, definitely if you're in that area. Yeah, Newport.
And I just watched Free Guy today. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, it's good.
So that would be my recommendation. Watch Free Guy and the new Ghostbusters movie. Jake, you want to tell people where they can find you?
Yep, you can find us on our podcast. We should say that, right? I mean, They found it, but I don't care. It's something extra I can say. You can find me on eBay. My username on eBay is the Game Boy, game boy. I'm on Instagram. It's just my name, Jake Kimmer. I'm real original there. You can find me on there if you want to follow along with some of the adventures that I do. Sometimes I post, if I have time, some things that I find, game finds, things like that. Boring stuff about me, nerd stuff. I'm on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel that's just basically for family stuff, and I have been putting in videos of things I put on eBay that might have movement or sound. I find I get more money for things that way. So top tip there. But those are my plugs. I'm not on everything, and but I'm easy to find. And our store, one more thing, our store, our flea market is called Hole in the Wall Games. If you want to look us up on Facebook, just where you search for people, just type Hole in the Wall Games, and we should come right up, and you can check us out there too.
And I'm pretty much on everything as Retro Rewinder, or I think on Poshmark I'm like Retro Rewind maybe, but it's some form of Retro Rewinder in some way or shape. So you can find me pretty much everywhere. Instagram, I'm trying to build that a little bit. So I've been trying to post one item a day. Hopefully try to start selling some stuff on Instagram. I know some of the local resellers around here do that. So I've been trying to post, kind of a deal on there where it'd be a little cheaper than if they went to my eBay. So follow me on Instagram. I do have a YouTube channel that I was doing pretty well. Towards the end of the year when we hit the Christmas breaks, I just ran out of time to do that kind of stuff with the girls being home. But hopefully I'll get some videos going again of that. So thank you guys so much for watching, listening, however you're ingesting this media. We appreciate it. Hopefully we can start doing this a little more regularly, even though I say that every time. I definitely want to do the Poshmark and Mercari episode. Poshmark just made some changes, and they fixed one of the things that have just been driving me crazy. So that's something we can discuss when we do that episode. You got anything else, Jake?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you guys again so much, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.